Hey everyone, welcome back to the Crafty Couple. Today we're going to be doing some really fun and simple Dollar Tree DIYs, and we're going to be making some planters. Some of these are dupes from some really high-end decor, and we're going to do them for just a few dollars. So we hope you're excited for today's video and enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments which project's your favorite.
For this project, I wanted to dupe something that I saw from West Elm, and it was this really cute planter. I thought I could do that for a lot cheaper using this magic modeling clay that I found at Dollar Tree. When you take it out of the package, it will be super stiff, and so all I did was just play with the clay for a little while, run it under some water until it got this texture. This is 3 packs put together, and I just flattened it out quite a bit and then stretched it over this planter, and I'm going to just be pushing it all over so that it fills most of this planter. I will have to use 2 more here in a minute, or about 1.5 to fill the rest of the planter. And like I said earlier, I had to grab 2 more, so that makes 5 packs total, but this was more than enough to finish the rest of the planter. For the bottom and other smaller pieces that it just doesn't cover, just grab little tiny pieces of the clay and put it over. It's really simple to do. It gives it a nice texture. You can, if you don't like this texture from using your hand, you can grab like a piece of parchment paper or something like that and roll it so it's a lot flatter. I did not mind how this looked at all. I thought it made it look a lot more unique and almost homemade. Then for the top, just to give it a clean line, I'm just kind of pushing on it so that the top of the planter almost cuts all of the modeling clay. To give it those lines, I just went in with a popsicle stick and I'm going to be pushing it down vertically, and then in a little bit we will be doing horizontal lines. But right now I just pushed it in, made sure that it looked nice, then went over just a little bit and did the same thing. This worked really well for me. I thought about using like a piece of string or something like that. That would also work. I did do vertical lines almost around the whole entire thing, but right here I am doing horizontal lines. So just do the same thing that we've been doing, but kind of roll it across the planter so that it makes a really nice line. And then on the other side where these horizontal lines end, we will just continue the vertical lines. This is what it looked like when it was finished before it dried. I did let it dry overnight, that's what it recommends. And then this is what it looks like completely dry. To finish it off, I just spray painted it with Satin Almond spray paint from Krylon.
We wanted to take a quick break and thank Hoover for sponsoring today's video. They recently sent us this Smart Wash automatic carpet cleaner, and it is absolutely amazing and so satisfying to use. I mentioned that this is a smart carpet cleaner, so what that means is when you're going forward, it's in wash mode and it's automatically dispensing the water in solution, and as you pull it back, it switches to dry mode. And this makes it so easy to use because you don't have to mix any solutions. You don't have to even push any buttons. All you do is treat it like a regular vacuum and you go forward and back and it does all the work. And once you've got it all cleaned, you can switch it to dry mode only, and then you go forward and back and it is drying that entire time and picking up any excess water. Now, if you have kids or dogs, I would say this is an absolute must-have. We didn't realize how dirty this rug was until we went over it with this cleaner. And as you can see, the area that we went over is so much brighter than the rest of the rug. And especially if you have dogs that shed, like we have a Doberman, he sheds quite a bit. And we had already vacuumed this rug a couple of times. And you can see it's still so dirty and there's so much hair that we picked up. If you look at that water, it is just absolutely black. The other thing that I really loved what this smart wash cleaner did is it gave the carpet more texture. The design on here was matted down and absolutely gross, but it cleaned it and fluffed it up a lot and gave this so much more texture. We also wanted to show you this is a perfect option to clean your car. It doesn't have to be used for the house only. Now this is the handle that detaches and it's used as a pre-treatment wand. You can go ahead and spray all of those really difficult stains and let that soak in for just a few minutes. Next, we're going to use this 8-foot attachment hose, and the 8 feet makes it perfect for your car. You can set it right next to your vehicle and it will allow you to clean the seats and the carpet. And then all I'm going to do here is go back and forth dispensing the solution and scrubbing this with those rubber bristles. And as you can see, just a few passes, this is already looking so much better. So as you go over this whole thing, it's going to completely transform it, and you can see that it is virtually spot free here and looks so much better. So don't go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a detail. You can simply use your smart wash carpet cleaner from Hoover, and we'll have a link for that in the description below so you can go check it out. For this planter, we're going to be using 7 of these Dollar Tree crates, and we're going to be staining them all with this early American stain from Minwax. And as always, feel free to change that up depending on your decor. You can maybe paint it white, do them all black, or different stain, however you'd like to do that. The easiest way that I found to measure this out is to just line 5 of these up. Now only 3 of them will go on this first section, but we need the gaps, so I'm just putting in the extra crates to measure this out. And then I'm going to line those up on these 5-gallon stir sticks and cut them with this jigsaw. Now we're going to need 2 of these at the same length. So the first piece that we cut, we can use that as a template for the second piece. And these stir sticks are from Walmart. I believe they're like 97 cents for a pack of 3. For this middle section, we're going to do the same thing, except for we're only lining up 4 of these crates, and then we'll go ahead and measure that out and cut it. Now, originally I cut 2 of these and 2 of the smaller length. It was late at night. I wasn't really thinking clearly. You only need 1 of each. So 1 of this middle length and then 1 for this shorter one. And we're going to just line up 3 of these crates, measure that, and cut it. Once we have all those cut, again, we're just going to use this early American stain to go ahead and stain all of these sticks. So you should have 2 of the bigger pieces, 1 of the medium size, and 1 of the smaller sizes. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go ahead and take 1 of the longer stir sticks, and we're just going to glue it on the side of this crate. Now, so I can get my spacing even, I'm going to take 1 of the other crates, line it up, and then I'll put the other crate that we're actually gluing on top of that. That will just allow us to get the right spacing so we're not guessing or anything like that, and all of this will line up in the end. So again, just put the middle one in there for the spacing. We're not actually gluing that down, and then we'll just glue that middle one. And then again, we'll do the same thing, take another crate, put it in there for the spacing, and then we'll glue the top one down. And essentially all we're going to do is just repeat that same process. We're going to glue on the second taller stir stick here on the opposite side, and then we'll go ahead and move on to our other crates. So I'm going to put this one here on the bottom for spacing, and then I will glue this middle piece on here and then move on to the other pieces. So as you can see here, since we're staggering these crates, that's why I'm using these ones in the middle to make sure that all the spacing is going to be the same throughout and those aren't kind of mismatched or not lining up. And after we have the first 2 rows complete, we can move on to this medium stir stick. So we want to line this up with the top of the crate there, glue it on the edge, and then that will be flush with the bottom of our entire project. And then there at the bottom, we will add our last row of crates. So this one's just going to glue on that bottom corner. And then the last crate will go in between these two right here in that gap. And then once we have those glued on, we can add our final stir stick, which is going to be that smallest one, and just glue it right there on the end like we did the other ones. And that's really all there is. Just a few cuts with the jigsaw, but a very simple project, and I think it's really, really beautiful in the end.
For this project, I wanted to try and use the top and the bottom of a box since we typically only use the bottom or we only use the top. But this ended up making a really, really cute plant stand and planter. So for the plant stand, I'm grabbing these rectangle wood pieces that we got from Dollar Tree, and I will be putting it in this shape underneath the lid. The top was glittery, so I just took some sandpaper and sanded that off, and then I'm going in with these rectangle pieces and hot gluing them on. All 3 of them do fit, but it is kind of a tight squeeze, so make sure that you are pushing the rectangle all the way to the edge, and then they are meeting in the middle, so it kind of makes the peace sign. To make it a little bit easier so I didn't have to remember where I placed it that fit, I just took a pencil and went on both sides and then ran the hot glue where those marks are. Originally, I did go in with the chalk paint from Waverly in the color ink, but I didn't feel like it gave it a good enough black. It just wasn't very rich and it kind of looked a little dull. So in the end, I do go in with a matte black spray paint for both of these projects. So now we're going to work on the base. For this planter, I'm using a 5-gallon stir stick. We just get them from Walmart. It's a pack of 3 for, I think, around $1. And I'm going to be putting it on the back and just roughly measuring about how big it is. Dollar Tree's items are kind of different sizes usually. They don't stay very consistent, so definitely measure this out and don't go just based off my measurements. I measured that out, and then I'm going to be making another line so that there are going to be 2 the same size since we are going to be having them cross like an X. I did measure out kind of how thick the stir stick was and minus that from one of them. It didn't change it too much in the end. And then I went in with our jigsaw and I'm going to be cutting both of those. One is a little bit longer than the other one, and the longer one is the one we will be cutting in half. Cutting that small of a piece with the jigsaw was a little bit rough, so just be really, really careful or use a hand saw. And then after, of course, just sand all your pieces down, and then I hot glued them on. I started with the bigger one, and I'm going to be placing it just in the center as close as I can. And then I went in and added the 2 side pieces. You'll just want to split this side in half the best you can. We will be painting it black, so you can't see all the mistakes as much. And then do the same thing on the other side. This is what it looks like when the base is finished. I think this would be super cute just left alone in like your bathroom or a little girl's room. Once again, I went in with that ink chalk paint, but it just wasn't cutting it after it fully dried. As you can see, the black just is not kind of what I wanted. It doesn't look way clean. So I went in with this matte black spray paint from Krylon, and I think it finished it up beautifully. This project is another West Elm dupe. I thought it could be super cute. So once again, I grabbed these boxes. They're a gift box and a craft box. So they will be in two different sections. And all I'm going to be doing is hot gluing the smaller one on the bottom of the bigger one. Just try to get it as center as possible. Since it is hot for a minute, you can kind of move it around and make sure that it's center. Since the top is very shiny, it will give it two different looks unless you sand it. So I just sanded the top one down a little bit so that they looked the same. Then I went in with this Satin brick spray paint. I don't have a good terracotta spray paint, and I would love your recommendations below.
Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're looking for some more inspiration, you can check out our playlist right here with a ton of other Dollar Tree DIYs. But as always, thanks again so much for your support. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time we upload a new video.